The Garnet Old Show, no inside info, no contacts, no problem. Welcome all. Welcome one. Vince Ciccarelli. How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing great, Ryan. Thanks for making it back to the show this week. We missed you last week, and we had a good show last week. Parker stepped in. He did a great job being a co-host for the show. We also were able to unveil his segment for the first time this year. Is that mathin'? And we got to unveil his intro video as well. So thank you, Parker, for joining the show last week. Ryan, I know you had some damage a little bit from the storm. Hopefully things are kind of getting back to normal.
Yeah, I got to put it in perspective because you guys see the videos online and the people lost their homes and underwater and everything. It was nothing like that. Just a whole lot of trees and a whole lot of brush and fences down and all that fun stuff. So I consider myself lucky compared to a lot of the people out there in Tampa. I'm glad that everyone or most people made it out hopefully okay. But Vince, I am back, and we just got done recording a members-only show that just went live about 30 minutes ago for our YouTube members. Tell them a little bit about it, Vince. How do you become a YouTube member?
It's right there. If you're on YouTube, there is a little join button right there, right underneath the show you're watching right now. It says join, and there are a number of different levels that you can join there. And joining gets you the opportunity to be participating in the members only shows that we do every other week or so, and also direct access messaging with Ryan and I on X and other social media platforms as well. So if you're interested to do that, it's one way you can support the show. Some other ways you can support the show are by just liking the show and subscribing to the channel. So
Vince,
Ryan,
can they hear us when we do that?
I think I have fixed this now where people can hear us. So if you want to throw that back over there, I think people can hear us.
People in the chat, when we put up this graphic right here, can you still hear us talking over it? Because we had some issues on last week's show, and I just want to know if we've resolved it. So hop in the chat and say yay or nay. Can you still hear us? But for now, I'm going to pretend like they do hear us, and let everyone know that tomorrow night, guys, the big event. Tomorrow night, Vince, will be at Fishware Brewing Company. Thank you, Bradford. Yes, he can hear us. That's good. And with the banner on. Fishware Brewing Company in Murray Hill, Jacksonville, Florida. We go live, I think, at 7, 6:30 or 7. We'll get it out on YouTube. We'll have
Well, the game's at 7, so we'll go live prior to the game for sure.
So, for those of you who don't know about Fishware Brewing Company, they're Noles owned and operated. They are both alumni of the university. They have a Florida State inspired brew of alcohol called Chopped and Hopped, and it is a pretty good little setup there. So we looked at the weather report, Vince, and last time we did this last season at Fishware Brewing Company, it was a noon game and it was hot.
Yeah, it was hot.
What did we say on that day, Vince?
We got to do a night game. It's gonna be great to do a night game here, and we've got 2 of them this season.
Yep.
The first one being tomorrow night, and Fishware is a great setup. They do not have food, by the way. They do not have a kitchen. So if
restaurant next door, though.
There's restaurants all over the place there. So a lot of people will bring food in, but they have the indoor part of the brewery there and the bar, but they also have this amazing backyard, and that's where Ryan and I are going to be set up for the first time ever in the backyard. And there'll also be a handful, maybe a handful or so of Marching Chiefs alumni that are going to be there as well. Hopefully, to present a little bit of the game day experience in the Murray Hill area of Jacksonville, Florida. So, looking forward to all of that tomorrow night. Ryan and I will be there early to get set up, probably about 5-ish, and we'll be ready to go live maybe about 6:30. Ryan.
Yep, and I just want to shout out in the chat there, if you copy and paste that link, that is the link event page for Fishware Brewing Company. So if you want to go ahead and mark yourself as interested or going. All the information, the address, what's going on, it's all on that Facebook page. And we want to thank our very gracious hosts tomorrow, who have been great partners of the Garnet Old Show, for allowing us to come back. And Vince, it's going to be, I think, at kickoff, 68 degrees on the patio. If that's not football watching weather, I don't know what the hell is.
No, and speaking of great supporters of the Garnet Old Show, I want to shout out again that I am broadcasting personally from the Captain Black's Fishing Studios here in Jacksonville, Florida. If you are looking for some charter fishing memories to do with your family in the Panama City Beach area of Florida, Captain Black has the charter company that you want to call. And I promise you, you will not have a bad time. You will have a great time with him, and I recommend that to you guys with all of my being.
All right, let's all that fun stuff. We got it done. We love our partners, and we can't wait to see you guys tomorrow at Fishware Brewing Company in Murray Hill, Jacksonville, Florida. But we're here to talk about Florida State now. Kind of a low key important game, which you wouldn't normally say about the Duke matchup. I would say normally it's not a humdinger, as it were, but we got real stakes on the line, Vince. Here, one of the few big records that's still on the line. We have never lost to Duke, and I'm here to tell you, I'm going to give you my score later. We're not going to lose to Duke. How about that?
Yeah. I'm gonna save mine till the very end of the show. By the way, show a little bit shorter tonight because we've got the big thing tomorrow night as well. But yeah, this is the 23rd game or the 22nd game. I can't remember how many we've won. 21 in a row, 22 in a row. I can't remember, but we have not lost to Duke, and so it's one of the only streaks that have not been broken. So, it is any normal time, any normal year, it wouldn't necessarily be such a big thing to talk about, but we haven't had a lot of positive things to hang our hat on this year.
For sure. One thing I want to say, Vince, and I'm going to go through some of these years. I thought this would be a fun walk down memory lane, because this is what gives me hope in this game, Vince. We haven't always been at peak efficiency when we played Duke. So let me give you a few examples, Vince. Now, we don't play them every year, right? Thank goodness, because that would, October 14th, 2017, Jimbo Fisher crashing into the side of the mountain. We won with James Blackman against Duke in that game. We won 17-10, Vince. Ugly victory.
Mm-hmm.
December 12th, 2020. I remember this game because that was Mike Norvell's first season. We were not good, and we beat them up 56-35.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, I'm not going to talk about last year because we should have beat them last year. That makes total sense. But if you look in the record books, Vince, and you're just going back, the closest game they've ever had with us is 17-10 in 2017 with Jimbo Fisher, James Blackman, that whole thing. Yeah. So it gives me hope because that team was terrible in a different kind of way from an effort standpoint, and from a coaching implosion standpoint. And I like what I saw against Clemson. I liked that Brock really was excited to play. I liked that Brock pushed the ball down the field. He was confident in his throws, and we didn't look horrible. We didn't look great, but we look better.
Yeah, we did look better. There's something that is kind of hard to quantify because there's not necessarily any numbers around it, but it just seemed like the team had a different level of continuity to it
Yeah,
last week or 2 weeks ago. It didn't result in a win, and we didn't think it would. But it does something that it was something that you can look at and say against a team of Duke's level. Yeah, I mean it. There is a possibility that Duke's defense is at least statistically pretty good. Um, so there's a possibility there
their offense
that
sucks.
yeah that we could actually do something as to coin a phrase. We could actually do something.
I want to break stride real quick on that. You pulled something deep out of the recesses of my soul. Did you see Willie Taggart rolling in a pimp in his it looked like a old Chevy following the Baltimore Ravens win? My man's living the high life in the NFL. He's saying, I got paid from Florida State, I got paid from FAU, and I'm out here rolling in the NFL. That's what he's saying.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he's kind of living the dream, right? Money rolling and
Sorry to sidetrack, but the
yeah, I
imagery was
don't even know what to
hilarious.
say about that other than I hope you enjoy all the money.
Yeah.
You know, enjoy all the money. You should, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for very little. So,
Yes.
um, back to Duke though. I do foresee us having the most success as far as offense is concerned that we've had so far this season.
I agree.
I do see
Yeah, I think very traditional offense and defense we're playing against defensively. I forget what show I was listening to, but the Duke quarterback has negative yardage on the year rushing, and he's only
that.
been sacked 8 times.
Okay.
So the man doesn't run, which for this defense, thank God. And I think we've played one other quarterback that wasn't an elite runner, and wouldn't you know it, that was our win. So
You're saying like you can't run, but you can't hide.
yeah, you're not going to get away, run out of the pocket, and make a huge play on us. This guy is going to get hit, and he's going to go down. So increases our chances. But offensively, Florida State, I think you guys will be shocked at the end of the show when I give my score.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how shocked we're going to be because you and I haven't talked about the scores at all yet. So we'll see how close we are with that. So, is there anything about the Duke game that gives you like if Florida State was going to come out on the wrong end of this, what would be the reason?
Weird game Friday night. I've watched college football a long time, and big teams. What I mean by that, it's not always good teams, but big name teams going on the road on Thursdays and Fridays. Not particularly great, just historically for whatever reason. And I'm sure if there's any game that the Duke fans, other than the game that they expect to win against Miami, they'll show up for the Florida State game, because they want to beat us. The record's on the line, and they think they have the greatest shot yet. So the environment's probably going to be as hostile as it can be up there. At least there's no track anymore around the field. But listen,
Yes.
no disrespect to Duke fans. You guys, it's not your priority. Basketball is your priority, and you guys are pretty decent at that. So I think the biggest worry for me is just an odd game on the road, record on the line. The pressure's on Florida State, in my opinion, in this game, not Duke. Duke could lose. No one would be like, oh my God, can't believe it, right? But all the pressure's on Florida State because we already suck. We just came off a bye, and we don't want to blow the record.
Yeah, maybe. If there could be a lack of pressure on both teams, that might be true. I mean, what is the pressure? These young guys that are getting a lot of the snaps now, what kind of pressure do they feel? I don't think they've been around long enough to know the pressure.
Yep.
So that's one of the reasons why I have a good feeling about this game. I just don't think they have a lot weighing on them. I mean, they don't. It's like you haven't been around long enough to feel it, right? So for
Vince,
me,
do you remember this? I remember back on the track in '93 when the Marching Chiefs were there for the Duke game. Were you there, Vince?
I was there for that game. Actually, was it '93? I think it was '93. Yeah, it was. That was the that was the game where it was raining pretty bad. It was the beginning of the season, and I think it was early in the season. And
Score was 45-7, by the way, on that game.
yeah, if that was the game that I remember correctly, at that point in the season, Derek Brooks had scored more points than the rest of the opponents combined by that point in the season. So
Check it out.
that's a that's a pretty good deal. Also, that was also the game where the Marching Chiefs performed at halftime, or maybe after the game. I can't remember. And the mud was so thick on the field that people were losing their shoes. Like the mud was pulling their shoes off.
Mm.
And the Duke University marching band, all the bands have their shirts that they wear underneath the uniform.
Yep.
And Duke's shirt said DUMB, Duke University Marching Band, and that was pretty funny. Let's do a few shout outs here.
Yeah, let's shout out Peter Shields. I want to say hi to Peter. I'm also going to go back, and there's a special shout out that I want to give because of the kindness. The kindness to our good friend Bo Weevil,
who watches just about every show.
Awesome, love it. In fact, we haven't ever made any serious attempt at this, Vince, but you and I in the past have conversated around about potentially doing a somewhat annually show with a fellow like Miami or Florida podcast. And you're muted, Vince, but having one of those would be fun because we're not the show that's just like, I don't want to have anything to do with those people. I want Florida State to win those games, but I also think you can be friends with plenty of people. Also, Philip Dugas, welcome again. Hey, 3-1 Indians. Vince,
Guardians.
Your team is out, aren't they?
Yeah, the Phillies got rolled by the Mets. Well, not rolled. They lost 3-1. So my baseball playoff watching is pretty much done. So
also want to shout out Suzanne. Good to see you. Cute dog in the picture there.
Suzanne, also a loyal watcher of the show.
Absolutely. And as always, we pulled him up a couple of times. Kirk David Tony, Marching Chiefs with Vince in '93 and a friend of the show. So welcome everyone to Garnet Old. We appreciate all of you. If you are watching live on YouTube right now, hit the like button for us. Do that.
Do it. By the way, Philip Dugas, happy birthday. Happy birthday, my friend.
Is it Dugas or Dugas?
Dugas.
That's interesting because I always confuse him with Philip Dumar.
Mahi Griller also watching the show. Mahi Griller, if you're looking for some charter fishing opportunities in the Panama City beach area, you should check out Mr. Captain Black.
And cheers to everyone on.
Ooh.
Now, Vince, I want to shout one thing. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Vince. I have this setting on here that after 15 seconds, the comment will automatically disappear if you don't hide it.
Got it.
So, Vince, you and I have the pleasure, and I think you have it the rest of the year, lucky duck, the pleasure of having tonight be our Friday, right? Because you're off tomorrow.
I am.
Tell the people about your tradition, please. I want everyone to be jealous of Vince.
The tradition is that, and this is a long-standing tradition, when you become a parent, you kind of hoard your PTO days because you never know when you're going to need them. Kids get sick or they're going on a basketball tournament or whatever. So you kind of hold on to them as long as possible because you never know. You don't want to waste them all in January because then your kid gets sick and what are you going to do? So my kids are both in college now, but I'm still in this mode. And so typically now at the end of the year, I have, a boatload of days to take off. Otherwise, I'm going to lose them. Mm-hmm. So usually around this time of year, I start and my manager laughs about this. I start putting in all my PTO requests. So not only do I have the typical Christmas week off and Thanksgiving week off where I do the Christmas lights. By the way, if you live in the Jacksonville area, let me know who you are so I can give you an address to come by and see the Christmas
He
lights.
goes out. He's one of those people, guys.
But I start putting in all the requests, and yes, I will not be attending any Fridays at work for the rest of the year,
Which
and
is
maybe a
awesome.
Monday or two. Yeah.
Now, me, I took off tomorrow just so I don't have to stress tomorrow and getting off work and trying to make it to Jacksonville in record time because I don't want to deal with 5 o'clock traffic. So I took the day off. I'm going to sleep in the morning. I'm going to wake up at my own pace. My wife is working overnight right now as a nurse. And so when she gets home, she'll nap for a few hours. And then when she wakes up, sometime between 12 and 2 p.m., we'll head out. So that's kind of the game plan. So cheers, Vince. I don't know if you have a drink on your desk, but happy Thursday/Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Mahi Griller
Um,
writes that is the best thing ever in regards to your PTO sitch.
yeah, I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna keep doing it as long as I can because it's really nice having 3-day weekends throughout the rest of the year. So,
Yep.
and really great when there's home games involved, right?
Yeah.
So let's wrap up the Duke talk with a
Yep.
prediction, and
Yep.
then let's talk about our expectations throughout the rest of the season, Ryan.
Vince, you go first. I want to hear your prediction since we don't know if it's a win or a loss for you.
27-17 win.
Oh, good. Win. A win. I won't go that far. But no, actually, you're going to be shocked, Vince. I want you to brace yourself
Hold
because
on.
I've been on the crap list for Florida State. Loss, right?
Hmm.
Florida State, I'm telling you, get ready. 45-14.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
I'm telling you,
I'm
Brock Glenn.
writing this down. I'm writing this down.
Right. Here's what I want you to put in quotes. Ryan predicts Brock Glenn's come out game.
No, I know that's what you're predicting, Ryan. We haven't scored 45 points
I
total
know.
all season.
I
No,
told
that
you to brace yourself.
yeah. I'm braced. I'm braced. I mean, obviously, we would all love to see that.
Historically, what did has Mike Norvell averaged since he's been here, Vince?
It doesn't matter what he's averaged.
It does. I mean,
It
because if you have a
doesn't.
quarterback that can operate it, and you're not playing Clemson, one of the best teams in the country right now, I think that all of a sudden things start clicking this week after a bye week and being successful in offense and feeling better about yourself in the Clemson game. I'm telling you, I want all the glory and none of the blame if this either goes right or wrong. Okay.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Listen, if we break 30, we have to have something. Well, there's something that we can.
We'll be at the bar.
We'll be at the bar, right? So, yes, we're gonna do shots at the bar.
Are we going to do our post game live from Fishware, or do we need to get out of there because they have a time constraint on us?
That I don't know. That I'm not sure about.
And guys, I see you guys in the chat. I don't care anymore about good practice, bad practice,
Practice. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
because
Yeah, because if you think about it, like how many great practices were we told about all through the off season? None of it mattered.
right. In fact, 2 years ago, now I'll eliminate the 13-0 season. The year before, in the preseason, every show was completely worried about our offense, our receivers, and offensive line. Still, they were our 10-3 season. People were talking about, we really don't have Johnny Wilson. He's a mystery at that point. We had no idea if he was going to be good or terrible. He had a lot of drops, right? And we didn't have number 4 yet, right? And we went into that season and they
Andrew
looked,
Parchment.
huh? Yeah.
Andrew Parchment.
He was like going to be our number 1 guy, right? Everyone was excited. Malik McLean, right? We didn't have the star-studded lineup, and then we go there and should have by a lot more. But we went in there and just creamed on offense. LSU, we embarrassed them in New Orleans. I'll never forget that. What a great day in New Orleans for Vince and I. But I think, Vince, that with a competent quarterback, the youth movement, confidence in a bye week, I believe, and if this happens, I don't know, maybe I'll pour like my beer all over myself at the bar. That we're left standing there going, oh my God, Brock can play, and we're going into the Miami week.
Ryan said he's going to streak down Murray Hill.
I don't want to get arrested in Jacksonville, Duval, but although it's within reason in Jacksonville.
It is.
I predict, Vince, that we are sitting here next Thursday predicting an upset win against Miami.
Okay, so this is a good segue. Good for you, Ryan. By the way, if you're watching the show right now and you're not watching on YouTube, like some of you are watching on X, go hop over to YouTube real quick and just hit the like button and subscribe. And then come on back to X. So I appreciate if you would do that. The rest of the season. So I said 27-17, which I think is a stretch. And you said, nay. We're going to go to the 40s realm, 45-14. So Ryan, good luck with that. Let's talk about the rest of the season. I have the schedule up here in front of me so I don't forget. Miami at Doak South. And we don't have to do a wins and losses. Just
I don't mind.
Of Miami, North Carolina, Notre Dame, Charleston Southern, and Florida. And of the last 5 games, we're both predicting a win tomorrow. Of the last 5 games, how many wins do you think are probable?
2. There's 2 probables, there's 2 neutrals, and there's 1 no. The probables are North Carolina and Charleston Southern. The neutrals for me are Florida, because who knows what that game will be. And then the other neutral is Miami. I'm telling you guys, even if we play terribly this weekend, would anyone in this room watching the show right now be surprised if Miami crapped the bed against us at home? Undefeated Miami.
They should already have 2 losses.
Yes. They've been saved by ACC refs. So I'm not going to be, Vince, will you be shocked at all if Florida State beats Miami?
I absolutely will be shocked if we beat
Miami. I will not be shocked at all. But the absolutely no that I will not even come close to predicting is against Notre Dame. I think they have more just talent right now, proven talent across the board. But I don't know what Florida's going to be, and I think North Carolina's bad, and I think Charleston Southern, of course, that's the only guaranteed win, I would say. The North Carolina game is over 50% in the win column, and I think Florida and Miami are coin toss.
Yeah, so I'm probably in agreement with you on that. I would go Charleston Southern, North Carolina as probable wins. I'd say Florida is a toss-up, and I would say so that would be 3 if we won that one.
Yeah, the path to bowl eligibility, Vince, is a win this week.
I know.
Is a win this week, a win against Miami, North Carolina, Charleston Southern, Florida.
I know. It's very improbable.
It can happen. You got to have faith, Vince.
And if there's going to be something, Florida State would have to be something it hasn't even been close to being to beat Miami at this point.
I like what Bo Ewell, a Clemson fan, is saying. Please beat Miami. Their fans, I do agree with this. Their fans need to be brought back down to earth. Everyone's acting in the fan base of Miami, and we would be too. I'm not going to lie.
Hey, listen.
If we were undefeated right now, and we won every game by 3 points, I wouldn't care. I'd be like pumping the chest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I have nothing against Miami fans for over-embellishing what Miami is. But you guys out there watching, Clemson fan, Florida State fans, Miami fans, if you use your eyes, and I wish Araj was in the chat. I haven't seen him. If you use your eyes, the last 3 weeks have told you Miami is not elite. They are, I think, a fringe playoff team that could beat someone in the first round, but I don't see them being Ohio State. I don't see them being Georgia.
Cam Ward, when he's right, is a difference maker.
Yep.
But as we've seen, when he's not exactly right, pretty average teams give Miami some problems.
Yep. Now, Vince,
So,
question for you.
yeah, and but Florida State's below average.
I love my hypothetical so much. We're sitting at midnight tomorrow, and the score is exactly 45-14 Florida State. You're shocked. You're saying, Ryan, I can't believe it, brother. And you would say probably that exact word, right?
I'm on my fifth chopped and hopped.
Yeah. So you're looking at me. You might even hug me at that point, be like, my man over here, Big East, right?
Got to rub the dome.
Yeah, rub the dome. At that point, would you be tempted to take my Florida State over Miami the following week?
Let me tell you this: if the score ends up being something like that, 45-14, where the offense finds something they have not found at all
Yeah.
in a long time since Jordan went down,
Mm-hmm.
and the defense holds Duke down, then I think because we're able to score some points, because I think Duke's defense is decent,
Mm-hmm.
then I say, okay, we have a chance. We have a chance because the pressure is going to be all on them, and the pressure of not being back for 2 decades, and the pressure of never winning a conference title, and the pressure of Michael Irvin on all fours on the sideline, the pressure of all this stuff, and the pressure of not taking a knee against Georgia Tech. Like, they've got it all. They've got all the pressure.
Do you think, Vince, and Raj finally chimed in, Kirk, believe me, no one wants to help
Raj
Miami.
is here.
Yeah, so, Vince, would, and I believe this to be true, if Florida State beats Miami on the road and Miami's undefeated, right? Would that be the most satisfying Florida State win over Miami in the last decade? It has to be, right? Can you imagine social media
in the
after
last
that?
decade,
Come on. Imagine, because at no point have we ever, for whatever reason, Vince, we have never lined up in the last decade or so where both of our teams mattered and whoever won the game could play either one for national. So it's never been like that. It's always been either Miami was overrated and we beat them, or we were cruising to another potential conference championship and we survived. That's pretty much what it's been. We haven't had a dominant Miami team, top 10 team, and Florida State comes in horrible. To
yeah,
me, I would like nothing more than to hop on the X after that game.
I'm not a trash talker. That's not my mode. But it would be satisfying. Florida State doesn't play spoiler, quote unquote spoiler, that often. So
Rock,
that
baby.
would be fun. I as of right now, I don't see it.
Well, guys, it has been an amazing show, and I'm going to remind everyone one more time: tomorrow, 6:30, maybe even a little earlier than that. If we go live a little earlier, we'll let you guys know. But minimum 6:30 to 7, we will have Garnet and Old live from Fishweir Brewing Company in Jacksonville, Florida, in the Murray Hill Riverside area. It's a great Knoll-owned bar, and they sell amazing beer, fresh, locally grown, locally brewed beer.
Locally grown beer, love it.
That's what I always tell Kristen. By the way, I don't call it I don't call it brewed. I call it locally owned, like you would a plant or something. Locally harvested ale. But they
Yeah.
are fantastic. It's a really cool environment. It's, by the way, if you're someone who hates dingy bars, like dark and kind of like gross, this ain't it. This ain't.
No,
I almost mentioned a friend of ours bar. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to disparage.
don't do it. Yeah.
Certain bars that are dark and dingy smell like smoke in Tallahassee. It's not that.
No, it's not a college bar. It's not like it's not that. It is
nice.
It's really nice. They've got a huge bar that they have tables as well on the inside, TVs all along, and then they have the backyard area, which is where we're going to be, and we hope to see a lot of you there. The place is called Fishweir Brewing Company. It's in the Murray Hill area of Jacksonville, Florida.
That's spelled like fish, FISHWEIR.
Yep. And just come on out and hang out. What else do you have to do on a Friday night?
You're gonna watch the game anyways, and if you live in the
Yeah.
Jacksonville area, come hang out. It's gonna be awesome. And by the way, be careful on their beers because many of them are a little bit higher alcohol content than a normal beer. So I will be driving with Kristen, my wife, to the bar, and she might be driving home as well, depending on how much of a good time we have. Because we like to have fun, Vince, when we go out and enjoy the Noles, and hopefully it is an enjoyment, not a disaster. Because it would be really sad to end the streak tomorrow night. But I'm going to be positive. Stay positive. Uh, Vince, it's been a pleasure. I can't wait for the event tomorrow. It's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a long time, and it's going to be because the weather's going to be great. I think everybody's going to be in a spunky mood. Screw ESPN eternally, Ryan.
Screw
And we're
you.
going to send Chiefs all the damn time, all the
We
damn
are.
time. Even the alumni, we're going to send them to Fishweir. So
Absolutely. All the time. Send the Chiefs. Man, we will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Go Noles, everyone.
go Knowles.